Hello again. How my heart fell when I saw several people post the comment "wooden doors" on one of my videos earlier today. This is a catchphrase used by Holocaust deniers, and it is meant to suggest that since some of the gas chambers at camps like Sobibor and Belzec had doors made of wood, then this must mean that they wouldn't have been airtight, and therefore the installation could not possibly have been used as a gas chamber. This displays such awful ignorance that it's hard to know really where to begin. The first thing to say is that it is quite true that the first doors in the gas chambers at Belzec and Sobibor were indeed made of wood. In the description to this video I give a link to the account of a gassing carried out at Belzec camp in 1942. It was written by SS Obersturmführer Kurt Gerstein. And he writes that, in front of us, a sort of bathhouse with geraniums, then a few steps, then 3 rooms, each on the right and left, with wooden doors like garages. In the rear wall, hardly visible in the darkness, large sliding doors. Kurt Gerstein may be seen in the thumbnail to this video, and I also give a link to the Wikipedia article about him. There now, it is perfectly true that there were wooden doors in a gas chamber. Does this mean, though, that the gas chambers were actually hoaxes constructed perhaps after the war and that they never really were used for gassing people? Well, no, not at all. But surely, wouldn't they let out all that poison gas and endanger observers? Not a bit of it. The gas used at the Belzec, Sobibor and Treblinka camps was carbon monoxide, and it was produced by running engines that had been taken from tanks, with the exhaust fed into the gas chamber. It was a slow process, but once the concentration was high enough, those inside would be killed. This method is sometimes used today by those hoping to kill themselves. They run a car engine in a small garage, or even put a hose from the exhaust and then lead it into the car. Garages don't have airtight doors, and yet this method works perfectly well. It takes a while for the concentrations to build up, but I'll come back to that point. What about the danger of the carbon monoxide, though, leaking out of the badly fitting doors? Completely harmless. It just dissipates in the open. When we walk along a busy street congested with traffic, all those vehicles are throwing out loads of carbon monoxide. You don't see people dropping dead, though. That's because you need a high concentration in an enclosed space to be lethal. It was because this method was so slow that it fell out of favour after a while. The engines broke down and so on, and even if they didn't, it took half an hour to build up a fatal concentration in the gas chamber. If you're hoping to kill people as on a production line, this is not very effective. You want something that acts a bit more quickly. This was found in a pesticide consisting of hydrogen cyanide. Now this really is poisonous. It was what was used at Auschwitz, and even the men handling it wore gas masks to protect themselves. There were no wooden doors at Auschwitz because the escaping gas would have been dangerous to anybody standing nearby. I do hope that nobody will bother posting comments about wooden doors here anymore. It really does make them look foolish and ill-informed.